The towers were dedicated in 1973. The Twin Towers were originally very controversial. Oh my God, we had the Empire State Building, okay? And they were very controversial. They were too bland. They were taller than the Empire State Building. They lacked character, okay? But very soon, they became very much a part of New York life, okay? And the skyline. Visiting to the top of World Trade Center 2 was a fascinating experience. I hope my children remember going up in the elevator, because in the Empire State Building, you're away, but here there was straight glass, and you went up, and your stomach went a little crazy as you went up, okay? If you're thinking about how high it was, I want you to take a look at that building over there, okay? That is the new 7 World Trade Center, and I want you to double it. And that is how high the World Trade Center building stood. It was the first day of school, and it was primary day. It was the day we New Yorkers were viciously, horrifically attacked. It's been estimated that at the time of the attack, 17,400 people were in the towers. It was hit. First plane hit between the 93rd and 99th floor. No one on or above the 93rd floor survived. At 9:03, the second plane hit Tower 2 between the 77th and 85th floor. I must mention to you, 40 victims died in Shanksville, Pennsylvania on Flight 93. 184 victims, including passengers from the plane, died at the Pentagon, and 2,749 people, excluding the hijackers, they're not included in this, okay, were murdered on that day. At this time, I'm going to talk about my story, okay? Most of the volunteers who are giving the tours have been involved. Either their residents have lived close by, they have lost someone, or they have worked here and they come and tell their stories. My story. On that morning, I'm a teacher, New York City Board of Education teacher. And on that morning, I was going to be late for work because I was going to vote in the primary. So instead of taking my usual route, I walked west and then east, and after voting, found myself on 15th Street and First Avenue. And at 15th Street and First Avenue, there was a perfect view of the World Trade Center buildings. And as I went to turn the block, I saw the plane, the first plane, hit the first building. And that was Tower 1. And I was like, oh my God, what happened here? What's going on? I looked around, I said, this is crazy. And all I could think of was my grandmother, who worked in the Empire State Building when it was hit by an airplane. And she used to tell me the stories, and I said, oh my God, how could a plane go off track like that? How could it hit? It was a beautiful, clear day. There wasn't a cloud in the sky. How could it hit? And then I said, oh my God, what is this? One of my sons is in that building. Oh, I don't know. Is he in that building, or is he in 2, or is he in the buildings that were over here? And I was disoriented and couldn't remember. So I picked up the phone and started calling all of my sons. My son John is here today. It's my second tour. My son John is here, and my son Michael. And I tried to call everybody on cell phones. Well, commodities, you can't answer a cell phone, okay? Sean, I couldn't get on the phone, okay? I finally got John. John said, Mom, that that Sean was there. In the meantime, I'm looking, I go running around, and we hear that another plane hit. And frantic, I called John back and I said, oh my God. And he said, you know what, Mom? By the time I reached him, he said, I got in touch with Sean. Sean was in World Trade Center 2. I got in touch with him and I told him to leave right away. Sean said, they told us to stay in the building. Okay? So originally, what they had said is, stay calm, stay in the building, stay here. But my son John said, get the hell out of there, and Sean said he would. Well, I raced home, but it was very, very funny. Everybody, there was no talking. It was absolutely silent in Manhattan. Everyone had stopped talking. Everyone was just moving along, running for their children. Some children, you know, we're on the Lower East Side there. There were children who were attending school over here. There were people who were doing business over here. There were so many people who worked here. So there was an absolutely surreal feeling with everyone. And as I walked home, of course I'm praying, oh my God, I hope he gets out. As soon as I get home, I go to the telephone, because by that time the cell phones were not working. You needed a phone that was connected to the wall. So I pick up the phone and I start calling everybody, and the phone is ringing. Well, my friend Carl was in maintenance in the World Trade Center, and I called him up. And I said, this was a couple of years ago, and he had retired by that time. I called him up and I said, how long does it take to get from the top of the building from the bottom? And he told me it should be about 27 minutes. And I was, okay, he can get out, because all of a sudden the building collapsed. I had to know, did he have enough time to get out? Unfortunately, no one above the 78th floor survived that attack unless they had left before the second plane hit. At home, I'm just thinking, oh my God, my Sean. This is my Sean, 28 years old, okay? Star rugby player, great athlete, so very strong, so spirited, so fabulous, so reasonable. You know, I'm looking at my notes because I want to tell you, if I start crying, it's because my guys are here. And this is a hard story to tell. So if tears start coming, you'll understand why. There is no way that I thought that Sean could not have survived that. There is no way. He was fast, he was quick, he was strong, mentally capable of getting out of any situation. This is Sean. When we started our campaign that night, we put his picture. We said he has to be alive. He has to be here. We received phone calls from other family members who did the same thing because they all worked together. And John and I think Kristen and Michael went down, crossed over 14th Street, which you were not allowed to do at that time, came down to downtown hospital and checked on the people who were there. Our family started a massive campaign. I don't know how many people joined us, but John and Sean were in the restaurant business together, so all of those people came. The rugby team, New York Athletic Club rugby team, all of those people came and looked. The neighbors in our community, our church, the people from his high school, all went out. We had a massive, massive, massive search. We were on television, we were in the newspapers, we were the first ones to throw our pictures up. We were sure that Sean and all the others survived. How could they not? What happened to all those people? And eventually we had to realize that Sean was gone. And we were taken here by boat, and we went home by boat. And when we went home, I asked my son John if he was happy if he came here. And he said, no, I wish I hadn't come. And I asked him why, and he said, because I never hated before. And I don't think that we Americans, or we who are living in a democratic society, have any idea of hate. But I will tell you honestly that I struggle every single day not to hate. Not to hate, because I think in our history that there's no truthful understanding of what this attack was and what hate can do.